Greetings. Thank you so much for tuning in to Conversations of the Soul. I am one of your co-hosts, Dr. Kiki Michelle.
Mr. Carlyle.
Yes, let me say, we're doing this thing. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
Thank you.
And to you.
And to you and to you. And guys, look, my beautiful flowers. You probably can't see the whole cabangle. I just made that up. But these are beautiful, and in a moment they'll be opening up. Thank you.
Right when the show starts.
Yeah, right. So I am a flower enthusiast. Thank you.
Yes, we are.
So we are excited that you've decided to join us again for our first segment of the new year, 2021. We made it.
We made it.
We made it. Yes.
Thank God we made it. Yes. Thank God we made it.
Woo! We did it, Lord. Thank you.
Glory.
Yes. Millions.
Coming on the Honda.
Millions did not make it. We made it, and that means every day it's our opportunity to do great things, right? And absolutely say thank you. So our topic today, that part.
Wait a minute. Our topic is we are blue in Georgia now.
Okay.
Hey, we gotta go with what the subject is. Subject matter is, hey.
Congratulations,
Oh,
Reverend.
Wait a minute. Yes.
Warnock.
Come on now.
Congratulations.
We gotta
John
do it.
Ossoff. You guys showed up and showed out.
Georgia.
Sing it.
Oh my goodness. They showed up to the polls
and
voted. They did their mail-ins and
just
voted.
begs the question. Now, shout out to everybody behind the scenes, Miss Stacey Abrams and everyone else who worked on her team, because I think I might have got 40 postcards and emails and other mailings and
I'm
letters.
looking for a check. All I get is a bunch of
Y'all
postcards.
did it up.
Come on
Nobody
now.
can say they weren't working, okay? We
Yeah,
have
the
proof
team was working.
that they were on
did
it.
their thing.
We thank you so much. And, it just begs the question and makes you wonder, were people voting before and their votes were maybe somehow suppressed?
Suppressed. They was depressed.
Because
and all that, because I don't think people was voting.
They probably were not voting.
People wasn't voting. I know they wasn't voting.
Maybe they were not voting.
Coach.
Hey.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to y'all.
Yes.
Good to see y'all.
We had to pull the plug, stop the press. Georgia's blue now. Okay?
Yeah.
Hey, we had to change the subject on the matter slightly. Okay, this is.
I understand.
What's up? I had to wear my blue today.
Coach,
okay?
he was singing.
my blue today.
Was he?
He was singing Ray Charles.
Georgia.
Okay, now.
Did that,
Ooh.
Listen, the whole world was looking on us. And listen, and they still are, because what's going on in Washington, D.C. is crazy. It's crazy. They're trying to take over the Capitol.
Okay, so that brings us to our topic. Now, see, our topic, just so people don't think we're just flipping from week to week. Now, we do speak from the soul, Conversations of the soul, which means we can speak from a place of emotion, personal opinion, research, wherever you want to speak from. But our topics are typically discussed days before. So what's our topic, y'all? Just to say I'm not making this up. What's our topic?
About race? Hey.
Race relations, I thought.
Yes.
Race relations. Okay, so we have blue in Georgia. All right, we have 2 senators that's going to flip everything in D.C. in terms of what you've been needing for your home and your business and your this and your that. They're going to be tipping some things with these 2 guys coming in, Ossoff and Reverend Warnock. My understanding is you can be expecting your stimulus checks the 2,000 amount difference. If you got the 600, great. You're going to get the difference soon. If you didn't get nothing, you should be getting your 2,000 soon, was what I've been told. But our topic is race relations. And because you had the Proud Boys, you had the KKK, you had Trump supporters, you had people who just want to be rebellious, possibly Antifa, everybody who wanted to, quote unquote, stop the electoral vote today showed up to DC.
Yeah, that's what the purpose was.
Yeah, to storm the Capitol. Okay. But how in the world do you get past the barricades in DC? Now, I've been to DC. Okay?
I think everybody, they were off today. That's what, okay. I mean, I think everybody was off today. The security people was off today, that normally stand around. There was no barricading of, around the Capitol building that usually be there. I think they got all the barricades around the White House. I guess that's what the problem is, But when Black Lives Matter was in town, what happened? Oh, you couldn't get close to you couldn't even get close to the sidewalk.
You may not even look like you thinking you about to run anything, okay?
Or get on the steps.
Wait a minute. Okay.
What happened to the bullets? What happened to the smoking guns? What happened to the tear gas? Riot people.
Okay, in that same vein, I watched in between meetings and dealing with clients today, I watched in horror as to what's happening. There was not enough security. I'm not trying to blame anybody, but it's been all over the media. It's been circulated. Something's going down in DC on the 6th. So for people to say, oh, we were not prepared, or we didn't know, whatever excuse they want to make. How in the world, as many times as I've gone to DC, if you didn't have a scheduled tour, you were not even going to, you can look at and go to one of the replica places, but you weren't going to be stumping up to the Capitol doing nothing, okay? You're not even going to be on the grass. You had guards there, you had barricades up, and you just knew, wow, don't even think of it. So what happened today?
These people just did not,
I don't know,
appear out of nowhere. Thousands of people appearing out of nowhere on the lawns, at a Capitol building without alarming somebody with the Trump flags. What did they have them in their pockets? And then pull them out when they got to the steps?
They were armed.
They were armed with backpacks too.
We don't even know if y'all put whoever you are, strategic locations, like they were breaking windows. I know I love everybody. And I know I'm not a racist. I'm not a person who thinks one race is better than the other. But I know for sure Black and brown people would not have been sitting at home over dinner after doing all that today. You would not have been able to leave. Like, you would be in jail or dead. I don't understand.
That's for sure.
Yeah, I think it was pre-planned for it to be like that. It's just too much details for it to be all of a sudden.
Right.
If it was all of a sudden, it'd be more. Right. I think it was pre-planned. Yeah.
And
did you get that memo?
Oh, no, you didn't. First of all.
Did it go out to all the Republicans?
I don't know, because I'm not a Republican, but I am an independent.
Part of the race, got those memos? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
See, you got jokes today. Here's the thing. I'm going to vote my conscience. I don't care what color the ballot is. But today, I did not agree with what I saw. Regardless as to who you voted for or didn't vote for, the people spoke, and their voice should not ever be overturned because you think Pence is going to get up there and change, the electoral. He can say, oh, this isn't right. No, the vice president is there to preside over the electoral vote, not to decide over the electoral vote. That's what people got it twisted. So at 1 o'clock when he must have said, because I wasn't watching this part, oh, well, yeah, you know, this is going to be a new president, Mr. Biden, people just went off and lost it. Like, he was not there. I don't know if people felt misguided, but it's not the vice president, based on the U.S. Constitution. Go back and read it. He doesn't have the control to go and change anything that the voice of the people is.
Trump had already called him and told him what he should do on today if we won on last night. If Georgia flipped it, this is what we're going to do. I think that's what they remember. I'm going to, Coach, I'm going to check her text messages to find out if she got that text on what to do today.
Yes, sir.
Whatever was going on, that text message that went out.
I don't know what he's talking about.
The Democrats didn't get.
This man thinks I'm a Republican. But I will say,
race of people.
I'm going to vote my conscience. I've been this way since I started voting. I mean, I can't say I voted for this party or that party every time because I haven't. I vote my issue. That's neither here nor there. My thing is race relations in 2021. We getting on to a pretty bad start, may I add. Okay. First of all my Black Lives Matter people, which personally, I think that all lives matter. I'm not trying to diminish any race. Looking at Black Lives Matter and the organization itself, some of the principles I personally do not support. I'm just being very transparent. But I do believe that if someone is passionate about something, they have the right to vote, to march, to organize, to push their agenda. That's all of our given right. So what I'm about to say is not supporting that organization. I'm just supporting the obvious. Black Lives Matter marched in the same space a couple months ago. Okay, first of all, in 2020, there were over 164 unarmed Black people shot and killed by police. Unarmed, okay? And some are debating if, somebody felt threatened or what have you. Most were minding their own business. So Black Lives Matter and all the race relations intentions sparked a movement. Social change and justice has always been a part of American culture. It's not going to change. So in that same vein, Black Lives Matter was at the Capitol. They marched.
Right.
So, but did anybody see any armed guard? I mean, it looked like it was about 200 armed guards on the steps of the Capitol when Black Lives Matter was there. Where are we going today? I'm just asking,
And to be able to just break the windows and corral all the way around the Capitol building.
To get in there.
And break the windows and got in and go into the chambers where Congress was in session, where they had to muscle them out of there and give them a mask to put on in case they had to tear gas people, of course. So they got all the senators and all them out of there and congressmen out of there and took them down to the tunnel, like they say. And then you see them walking up the steps. And you have this one, I think it was a female guard. She had one of those little batons that you,
baton.
Yeah, it was the baton that you snap out. That's all she had. She didn't have a gun. She didn't have anything. She was just on her radio trying to get some help with these people coming up the steps.
Okay.
Into the Capitol.
So who was the gentleman who had the privilege, and I think broke the law, had his feet up on Nancy Pelosi's desk?
Came in and took over.
Who was sitting in the chair of the chamber where Vice President Pence should have been sitting at?
Holding the gravel.
Somebody walked out with a podium. I just want to say, Black and brown people, don't try it. Don't. because the law, I don't think the law was exercised the way it should have been. Okay, it's not designed for certain people at a certain point. It's supposed to be for the lawless, but I guess we have degrees on what we define as lawlessness. I don't know.
Right. I don't know. I know there's a curfew now in DC. Am I correct?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
There is a curfew. Yeah. It's supposed to have been at 6 o'clock.
Right.
It's supposed to have been at 6 o'clock. Yes. But I don't know how many people. But it was various different races there too. Now I saw.
And that's fine. I saw. You know, that's true. But in general, Black people, brown people, or even other races who rally around ethnic or social justice or racial issues are automatically called thugs, even if they're just standing around videotaping. And you know, my question is
immediately without even question.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you were a threat.
Yeah.
I was just standing there. So my question is, are these people going to face charges? Like you broke the law.
Good question.
I think town.
Yeah. That's a good question. I don't know. I can't say yes because I really don't know. Wow. That's a good question.
I don't know. Y'all.
We just have to wait and see on that one.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Because it can go either way. There's no definitive. You know what I mean?
And there's a lot of work to be done.
A lot of work to be done.
And
the 20th.
Hey, yes.
And that's what I'm thinking. I think this was dress rehearsal.
But the 20th. Yes.
I really do.
Yes.
The inauguration is going to
be underground.
Whatever's going to happen, I think is going to surprise America. That's what I feel.
True.
Because because there could be potential fraud going on when it comes down to balloting and stuff like that as well. But again, all of that stuff is going to come out, I feel, and it's going to shock everybody what the truth is going to be.
I agree. And I think I know I thought that should have come out today, by today. But again, you can't overrule the will of the people. Like, the people have spoken, and you're going to win some, you're going to lose some. You've got to move forward. You can't get stuck. I mean, like, you know, the president's there today and said that he's not going to concede. Like, the words that were used incited the violence that we saw today. Now, I'm not blaming anyone, but we've got to be so careful what we say. But the simple fact, you don't know where somebody's mental status is when they're sitting there listening to you. You know,
that's true.
You pushed buttons that were already trigger happy in the first place.
Yes.
That's a lot of control. That's a lot of control. And they were begging Trump to issue out a tweet to tell the people to back up, back down, you know? That's scary.
Well,
that's scary. I've never seen anything like that happen before, you know, in my lifetime, where, you know, somebody has that much control over the people, you know, a race of people that incites, you know, just
defiance.
That kind of activity.
Yeah, I don't know. So race relations. Where do we go from here? Like, is it getting better? You know, are we in the same place? Is there hope? Where are we?
From my perspective, I see the narrative. Let me put it that way. I see the narrative that the media is showing us that is pretty much the same. I still think there's a big divide in America from just what they're showing us on TV. Now, when you come down to it in your own individual communities, there may be more unity than what they're projecting, but each of us can only speak from that perspective based on what we're at. But as far as the whole global thing, we're still divided. Make no doubt about it. There's division in all areas of our, you know, when it comes to race, there's a big divide. Even when it comes to economics, there's a big divide. And we as Blacks are still at the bottom. Make no doubt about it. So we have to, we of all people have to come together at some point. I don't know if it's going to come together in our lifetime. I wish it will, but we can at least plant the seeds. We can at least be a participant in getting it to turn around. But my God, we're going to have to start loving each other. We're going to have to start really unifying ourselves at some point or another and stop depending on the politicians to help deliver us. I think we have to deliver ourselves. What do y'all think?
That's very true.
Wow.
Well, we have two distinguished gentlemen now in the Senate, and I think they're going to bring back about a change. You know, now that it's going to be a balance. It's not going to be one side over the other side. So I think we're going to get a lot done, and with also being in there for the next at least 6 years, and get that Mitch McConnell out. Okay,
or at least quiet him down.
And I think it's going to be a change. From Warnock, he's going to bring. I think he's going to be very strong. For the next couple of years. I think he's in there for 2 years, and then they get voted again, or I'm not sure how that process is, but I know with him being in that position, I think it's going to be very powerful for the Democrats, to make some decisions, and we have a equal balance, I think, rather than everything being one-sided and not getting things done. And it's been a long time. It's been a long time since this has been like this, So over 30-something years, I believe they say.
Warnock made history as the first black senator from Georgia. And, kudos to him and kudos to everybody who voted. And I think that as a people, we need to change the way we're thinking. Let's not just go to the polls for the presidential elections. Let's get in here and know what's going on in our local communities. Let's attend meetings. I mean, if they have a community meeting,
everything.
We need to be there. Yeah. Just don't show up and complain when something is wrong. Be a part of the decision-making process. And the smaller, like you stated, the smaller elections, people sometimes don't show back up. And that's what the concern was for this runoff. Yes. They were saying, well, whatever, the Republicans going to keep everything because Democrats don't show up. But what I'm seeing is there's a new phoenix rising with voters and people speaking their truth. And ultimately, I believe there's going to be a new birth of each of the parties, Democratic, Republican, Libertarian, Independent, however you associate, because people have sat idly by watching the same old with no change. And now these same people are growing their voice. They're growing up. They're feeling empowered to speak. They're out of options. They're understanding that, hey, you're in position because we voted you there. Like, the power, I think, has been given back to the people. And that scares those who've had their knees and their feet on our necks as a people. So when you try to say, oh, we should do this, you should do that, sometimes when you rise in these ranks into power, you become a threat. Like Martin Luther King, he was a threat, although his agenda was peace, 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 because people listened to him. He was seeking change, and the power that he had automatic enemies. So as we move forward, and I'm not sharing that to discourage anybody from being an activist or going for what you know is right, but also be prepared that as, the tide has changed. 2021, we're here, we made it, and everything that some people have built their entire lives upon just shook. Like, Seriously. The Senate race today shook up a whole lot.
Yes.
People are shook at the Capitol because of the presidential race. Okay.
Yes.
So I think that race relations will always be around. It's something we always will have to just deal with as it comes. But I want to see more love and more respect within individual communities, because sometimes we can become very vocal when there is a disservice to a Black person. But when little Pookie go do something to little Ray Ray, we just say, oh, well, like, there is a double-edged sword, really. Either we gonna love and come together and do this thing right, and we should stop and have a voice for Black on Black crime, for infighting, for redlining. No matter how good your credit is, redlining is real. You won't be able to buy in certain communities. Okay, it starts with your realtors. It's just the way it is. So, there are real issues to tackle, but we also need to make sure that we're doing our part from person to person.
Black on black crime is serious here in Georgia and across the world. I mean, it's a lot of it going on, and I'm just happy to see that a lot of young people got out and voted for the first time. Not only young people, a lot of people voted for the very first time in years.
Yes.
And a lot of well-known people. They waited till the elections, and they say, hey, this is my first time voting, and they well-known, athletes, rappers, and then you're like, wow, he just voted this year.
Mm-hmm.
I was surprised. I was surprised. I don't want to call the names.
Please,
but I don't, because we might need that donation from this. I don't want to call their names, but but it's a lot of them. I was so surprised to hear them say that. This is my first time voting.
But we're glad you finally did, whoever you
are.
Yes.
Like,
let's not let this be a one and done thing.
Oh, yes.
Let's keep up with every election.
I
mean, voting on your local levels, national, international, whatever it is you do, you have a voice. And this is the thing that I was thinking of personally with this whole vote. Somebody literally died so that you can have a voice. Like, that's what most of the civil rights was about.
Yes.
Our freedom to be able to go, and some people get in line and complain, the line is this, line is that. I get it. But somebody gave up like the total ability to breathe. Like they're no longer on this earth just so they can have the right to vote.
And walk on the same sidewalk.
Yes.
And drink from the same fountain.
I mean, and the civil rights time was not that long ago. And unless we know our history, we are bound to repeat it. It's not a cliche, it's true. So that's why, somebody was saying at a time, well, they automatically make it rain on, election day. So come hell or high water, I don't care if it's a snowstorm or a blizzard or a monsoon, cast that vote because your voice matters. And we're seeing the results of that now,
Thank you, Lord. It was a nice sunny day today for the voters to get out, on yesterday.
Right.
It was a beautiful day. So you couldn't say that it was raining, and you couldn't say that you didn't have a way because they were picking people up. All you had to do is call a number. The radio stations all was on board, getting the word out on where to go. And if you needed a ride,
right.
They were like, hey, call this number directly, and a lot of, rappers and actors was doing commercials on the radio, on TV. So, they pushed that, that agenda to get everyone out to vote. Our mayor, Keisha Lance Bottom, did a fantastic job. I think you might as well give her credit. She did an outstanding job of having different events and Warnock, and also yes.
Okay, the two new senators.
Oscar, yeah, they got out and had some very nice. Went to the neighborhoods, walked the streets. You could just see. Wait a minute. They couldn't go into churches this time, so they were out pounding the pavement. They were out pounding because every time when it's election time, they would try to hit every black church. You would never see them in the church until election time.
Right.
So that was a good thing for them to be out and have something in the community.
Right.
Where everybody could see them. That was a big push.
Yeah, it was awesome.
And so they couldn't just visit the churches and depend on the congregation to vote for them, and the pastor to get out, and things like that. But I'm just thankful that it was a beautiful day on yesterday, and people got out to vote. It was so awesome, and voting mail-in votes.
That's been my best friend lately.
Yes. Yes.
But however you do it, just do it.
Just do it. You don't have to do it twice. Do it one time.
Okay.
I don't care how many forms you got.
Right. What was up with that? Like, I know I had so many forms. And I'm looking like, I already submitted mine. What is this? So I tore it up. But however you voice, do so. Calling your senators. We know who you are. Find out the senators in your local community. We know who's in Georgia. Okay. So if there's issues that are near and dear to your heart, send a letter, call, lobby your congressman, so that we can actually see the voice of the people in action. It's really a problem where people make all types of campaign promises and get into position and I understand you have to vote on stuff. You can't just go in there and put everything into place that you promised. But at a point, you still should, be the voice of the people. Like, we voted you in.
Represent us.
Yes.
Right.
Represent us.
So my question is, what can we do? Like, race relations. Like, we voted. If you didn't vote, okay. We hope we can catch you next time. But, like, what can I do within my own area to improve race relations?
That's a good question. I feel that's a really good question. What can you do? I'm sure there's many things we can do. I got to think about that because I think a lot of us think I think we definitely got to get back into communities. I know a lot of people already go to church, but it seems like church has its own domain, so to speak. And Kiki, you can probably relate to it as well, what I'm trying to say, Dr. Kiki. The church used to have influence in the community. I don't see the influence anymore. Do you guys?
No.
I just don't see it there. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? I see that it's right. I see that it's big business now. I'm not knocking it though. I'm just saying I'm seeing it for what it's doing today. It's a good business to have. It's inspirational. It can encourage you. But I don't see where it's affecting change in the community. So that's why I'm kind of stumped on, then what can we do? Well, we can definitely check out our local Congress and all that and vote. That's fine. But you're asking a really good question. What can we do as a people? I'm going to have to go last on this one. I need some time to think about it.
I feel you on that because we were just talking about where's the church? Like, and I'm not here to bash the church. I am the product of the church.
Nope.
Okay. I don't think any of us are bashing
I come from it too.
But there's such a line that there's no line of demarcation anymore. It's a business. Like, I remember going to school with people who, when I was struggling through engineering sessions and classes and tests and everything, they were actually going to school to be ministers and pastors. And one of my friends, I will never forget, okay? This is almost 20 some years ago. I'll never forget them saying, y'all trying to, go through here and get a regular education so you can go beg and work somebody for a job. I'm gonna always have me some money. I'm about to open me a church. I'm gonna have me a big congregation, and people are just kind of looking like, okay. So church is a business, and it should be run as a business to an extent. Like, it's like we've kind of lost our salt. We've lost our savior. A whole about why are we here? Why are we meeting every week? We're saying the same thing sometimes over and over again with no effect. Right. And there's been so many scandals in churches. People don't want to be bothered. Like, I'm not going to get dressed and drive way over yonder for some mess, Right. And I get it. So, I mean, just want to piggyback that with, we used to can depend on the church. But is anybody into the church?
I don't know. Because you have politicians running the church as well. they dress up as a preacher or a pastor, but they're politicians as well because they're they're doing what they got to do to win the people. But they're winning the people not so much to help change their minds towards them, their spirituality, but it's to gain popularity. From what I've seen, So if I come up with this, if you feel led to make a difference, then people going to have to become the leader in their communities, whether they're going to run for Senate or run for a position, because with that comes power. You are for the people. Then I think you can really make change that way. But right now, based on what our system is designed or built, it's like work for the people, deceiving the people. So we need people that's going to be righteous, that's going to be in power,
and be able to give back to the community. That's for sure. Because a lot of a lot of these churches, they're not doing anything, especially now. I mean, if something was to happen to your family, and I don't see them doing a lot. Back in the day, the pastor used to come in and visit, but now you can't do that because of COVID, of course, and they're not going out of their way to visit the bereaved families, or things of that nature. You can see them right at the church, or you had to call them at the church, if you can get through, put it that way. So, or see them that Sunday morning or right after church, or make an appointment to stop by to see them. Other than that, I don't see them doing a lot. A lot of churches doing a lot. There's a few. There's a few churches that are doing things in the community.
When the cameras are there.
And that's true too. But they're putting their money where their mouths are. A lot of times too, because if the congregation is giving, then they have been giving back. Feeding the people. That now during this pandemic, there have been some churches have been really, really big on giving back to the people.
Kiki Global.
Kiki Global, that's right. We've been doing that as well, and I mean, New Birth has been doing a tremendous job. They have been doing a lot there. Even with the prisoner, in the prison, their prison ministry is very strong. And I do applaud them for that, because they have been helping them and reaching out to those men who, as soon as they get out of jail, or they help them to get out, and begin to minister to them while they were there. And when they got out, also gave them a helping hand, and that goes a long ways for somebody that is struggling, first getting out of jail, don't have a job, don't have a place to stay. And so with all the monies that the churches are doing, I think they should be doing more, building nursing homes or a facility to house those that are homeless, to feed the homeless, to house the homeless, nursing homes. There's a few churches that have been doing that and building nursing homes and communities. So there are a few.
True, but not to be a negative Nelly, but even before the pandemic, there was not a lot. There were churches that were doing certain things with the community, but like you said, let something happen or be in need. It's okay. Well, yeah, let's remember so and so and so and so in prayer. Like prayer works. Yes, it works. But people need resources. Like
finances.
I'm giving my tithes and offering, and I'm showing up and I'm helping the best that I can. And I know a church that shall be nameless at this point because I don't do that name dropping stuff. But when someone actually had given over years to the needy fund of this particular organization because they were doing well for themselves, when the tide changed and turned and they then needed money, help, resources, they were like treated like, they were lying that they needed and show proof of this. And it's like, well, wait a minute. When I was giving, it was, oh, thank you so much. Oh, God bless you. But now I'm on the receiving end of needing. Now you got to get back to me as to if you can help. Like, I don't think God is pleased with that. But, I'm not here to judge. I do think that, we need to do what we can. Like, God has gifted us just the desire to want to, help those with food, and just be a resource in that manner. So if you don't have that in your heart or the resources or the time or what have you, look around your space and find what you like to do and what you can do. You might not be able to visit somebody in nursing home, but you can send postcards, even just because. Happy Sunday, good morning, just checking on you. It's things that people can do to show others that they care that builds the community. And I want to say that we need to understand that we're not each other's competition. Like, I don't understand why it seems that way in especially the Black community, where it's difficult for someone to support others, especially when they know them. But an outsider or somebody that they can't reach or will never meet, they're supporting them and, sharing their event or, sharing their music or, sending donations and giving. But people that like we used to say, you looking them upside their head trying to find an issue. So at a point, we've got to stop, looking at each other like, sis, I'm not your competition. Like, bruh, I'm not your competition. We should be working and building ourselves, our dreams, our goals, our communities. Like, if you're doing you don't have time to be hating on Mr. Carlyle or Coach Kai. That's how I think of it. But some people will see Mr. Carlyle's coming out with a new line, his collection. Oh, instead of supporting and purchasing, and this is just a hypothetical example, they out trying to copy. Like,
and make it their own.
Yeah, it's just the mentality for me. Like, and social media is big, but really it's small. When you're in these different pockets in these industries, it's small. And so we see you, bro. We see you, sis. And all I want to say is there's enough with just people hating you just for the color of your skin. Like, nobody chose a color on the way into the world. Like, you were born and over time you realize what race you were. So to hate someone because of their race is the most asinine thing I've heard of. I still cannot wrap my mind around it. Like, you're literally hating people because of their skin color. So with that dynamic, it's like we don't have time to be, fighting amongst ourselves.
I agree. I totally agree. And to piggyback off what you're saying, I think that there's layers to this. And what I mean by layers, I feel like what Mr. Carlyle was saying, I think there's a lot of companies like you guys have, and the bigger churches and small churches that are doing great things in the community. It's just not televised. Let me put it that way, because if you was to go to those same prisons, they would speak highly of, like what Mr. Carlyle was saying, of New Birth and other businesses like yourselves, of how it helped them. And I know some guys that was in prison themselves, gotten out of prison, cleaned themselves up, and went back to help out more people. But it's just not being televised.
Right.
So what am I trying to say? I just think that we can only grow on the level that we're at. And you can be great in the community. It's just that it won't be ever seen or heard, maybe, unless somehow the media or the news catches wind of it and they choose to put you on display. Other than that, I feel a lot of the battles that we're seeing played out on television is not our fight. It's not our battle. It's a greater entity. These weapons of warfare is levels to this. You see, there's hierarchies. There's just different levels to the troubles and the pains of this world, that all we can do is do what we can do and guard ourselves, make sure we have the full armor of God on ourselves, and just make sure that we're looking and we're watching and we're paying attention to our intuitions and paying attention to what's really going on behind the scenes. And I think from that perspective, we'll be okay.
Well, I made a commitment personally about a year ago that I wanted to just share positivity on my platform. So regardless as to what's going on that could render a conversation or debate, I choose on my social media to share mostly positive things. So that's what I'm committing to do, even going forward. There's things that you can research and need to know, like the Electoral College and things like that. So today I shared that. But anything that's degrading, like people will share twerk videos or things like that, but they won't share a video to say, hey, you can learn a new language in a week. It's just what we're choosing to promote, what's important to us. So to me, good news travels slower than bad news. I'm trying to change the narrative. Like if we can uplift, Susie just opened up her own bakery, or, whatever the case is, then that's how I think what I can do.
Feature a new business every week. Introduce people to other businesses, Black-owned businesses, that's something different. And you see people doing things and they don't get any kind of recognition or advertising that they need to have, or references, which is so important. It's about who and and sharing people, businesses, and whatever talent that they have. There's so many talented young people out here. It is ridiculous. And a lot of times you don't even see them doing things or hear them doing things, but because of social media and, and TikTok and all that, you see a lot of people sharing things, more so than ever before, not only just twerking, everybody don't need to see that, but who could play a piano? Who plays a piano? Who could sing? How many is, or who does calisthenics? Just, in aerobics, and I'm seeing more and more kids now getting involved, which is great. It's just very positive that the parents are really directing them into getting into things, because it's more things you get into besides being a rapper. So, but let your kid learn how to play an instrument, a piano, or, whatever instrument that they're, even drums even, it's just so many things you can learn. But reading music was very important in me coming up. My brothers and my sisters, all of us was musically inclined, and we learned how to read music. We had a upright piano in our house, whether you knew how to play it or not. You can go over there and bang on it, and learn how to do things, do the catwalk on it, wherever, make some sounds on it. But you never know, but you can teach yourself how to play, and then go to someone who could teach you, professionally how to play the piano or whatever instrument, because once I learned how, I was so interested in playing the drums, I was beating on the furniture,
Right.
To make a beat. And now making beats, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. You're just recording it, okay? And whether you're beating on a chair, a cymbal, you can use a water glass, a cup, anything to make sounds, and be unique. And that's your music, that's your track, and put it all together. You got your nice little track right there.
That's right.
Just by being creative, teach yourself how to do things differently, So.
Yes. So as we go ahead and wrap up today's Conversations of the Soul, again, I want to personally thank everyone for tuning in, for sharing, for liking all the positive comments, conversations, those who tune in much later than our original broadcast. Thank you so much. It is our desire to encourage you, to let you know you can move forward wherever you are, regardless as to what's going on. And in closing, gentlemen, if you want to just let everybody know how they can follow you, find you, call you, book you.
Yes, you can follow me on Instagram at Coach Ka _569. You can follow me on Facebook with just my name, Kendall Anderson, and Twitter, the same thing. Or if you want to book a session or at least have a free 30-minute session, you can reach me by way of email until my website gets finished. You can contact me at lifecoachkanderson@gmail.com. That's lifecoachkanderson@gmail.com. And you can either call me as well at area code 980-272-8287. Again, that's 980-272-8287.
And you can also follow Mr. Carlyle on Instagram, Mr. Carlyle W. I am Mr. Carlyle. You can reach out to me. Follow me on Facebook, Carlyle E. Williams. Carlyle is CARLYLE. And if you need to book me or anything as far as our fashion shows or modeling, you can reach me at 470-418-7277. That's 470-418-7277. You can reach me and call me anytime if you want to get involved with modeling. We have sessions like every week. You can make an appointment. Find out our schedule of our upcoming events. Just give us a call.
Yes. So because we are dealing with Conversations of the Soul, I want to offer the opportunity that if you need to chat about anything, suicidal or ideation, thoughts, decisions, loneliness, isolation, whatever you're going through, as we are still in a pandemic, feel free to call on behalf of Quantum Talks 8.0. You can follow us on Instagram for Quantum Talks. If your employees need training of any sort, that is what I do as well. I assist with empowering others to open their own businesses or to be that stellar employee through Kiki Michelle LLC. So that is also on Instagram and Facebook. And last but not least, We want you to be empowered in everything that you do on behalf of Kiki Global. It is something that is a baby that has been birthed, but it is really growing, and it's a real serious passion of both of ours. So if you're interested in helping us to reach more people, or if you know people who are in need, let us know. Kiki Global, that's out there on Instagram and Facebook as well. So in closing, Conversations of the Soul, appreciate you. And on behalf of everyone, please, please, please do what you can in your local community to positively impact racial equity.
Peace.